The stars held no answers. Queen Sariel knew this, but she kept staring anyway. Her reflection looked back at her from the glass walls of her private chamber. Crystalline skin that once glowed with life now appeared dull and lifeless. She looked like a statue carved from dying light. 6 months. That was how long James had been dead. 6 months of waking up and remembering all over again that he was gone. 6 months of pretending to be strong while her heart turned to stone. The door opened behind her. Sariel did not turn around. She recognized the footsteps. Minister Thane always walked with purpose, like he owned every room he entered. "Your Majesty," he said. His voice was soft but firm. "The council grows impatient. They need your decision." "They will have it when I am ready," Sariel replied. Her eyes never left the stars. Thane moved closer. She watched his reflection approach in the glass. He was careful, always careful. That was what made him dangerous. "With respect, Your Majesty, the Empire cannot wait forever."
Oh.
6 months is already longer than tradition allows for mourning, especially for... He paused delicately. "For a human?" Sariel finished his sentence. Now she turned to face him. Her violet eyes blazed with cold fire. "Say what you mean, Thane. You think I mourned too long for someone who was not Valathi?" Thane raised his hands in a peaceful gesture. "I think nothing of the sort, but others do. The noble houses whisper. They question your strength. They wonder if your judgment has been compromised." Sariel laughed, but there was no humor in it. "My judgment brought peace to this empire. My judgment ended a war that killed millions on both sides. Commander Reed and I negotiated that peace together. We honor his memory for it," Thane said smoothly. "But he is gone. You're still here. The empire needs you present, not lost in grief." The words stung because they carried truth. Sariel knew she had been distant. She knew her court worried. But grief was not something she could simply turn off like a light. "Lord Kaveth has made a generous offer," Thane continued. "Marriage would unite two of the most powerful houses, would show the Empire that you are ready to lead again, ready to secure the future." "Lord Kaveth is arrogant and cruel," Sariel said flatly. "He opposed the peace treaty. He wanted the war to continue so he could profit from weapons manufacturing. He has changed his position," Thane argued. "He now supports peace, and his wealth would strengthen your position considerably." Sariel wanted to scream. Instead, she took a slow breath. Queens did not scream. Queens remained composed even when their world was falling apart. "I will consider it," she said finally. The words felt like swallowing poison. Thane smiled. It was a small smile, but Sariel saw the satisfaction in it. "That is all the council asks. You are wise, my queen." After Thane left, Sariel returned to the window. Her mind drifted back to the first time she met James. It was 3 years ago, during the first peace negotiation session. The war had raged for a decade. Both sides were exhausted. Both sides had lost too much. James Reed had been part of the human diplomatic team. Most diplomats came to negotiations with loud voices and aggressive demands. James was different. He listened more than he spoke. When he did speak, people paid attention. Sariel remembered one particular night. She had been unable to sleep after a difficult negotiation session. She found herself walking to an observation deck. James was already there staring out at the stars. "Beautiful, are they not?" Sariel had said. James turned. His brown eyes met hers. Human eyes were so different from Valathi eyes. Smaller. Warmer somehow. "They are," he agreed. "Completely indifferent to us. We fight and kill each other down here, and the stars just keep shining. Makes you wonder what the point is." "The point is survival," Sariel had replied. "Each side fights to protect their own." "Maybe," James said. "Or maybe the point is to stop fighting long enough to realize we are not that different. Your people want peace. My people want peace. Only the ones profiting from war want it to continue." That conversation changed everything. They began meeting more often, sharing ideas, debating philosophy and politics. Somewhere along the way, sharing ideas became sharing feelings. Love crept up on them like dawn, slow and inevitable. By the time they noticed, it was already too late to stop it. They kept their relationship secret. They had to. A Valathi queen and a human ambassador. It was scandalous. It was dangerous. It was beautiful. For 2 years they stole moments together. Private dinners in her chambers, walks in the palace gardens after midnight, whispered conversations where they dreamed of a future where their love would not need to hide. Then 6 months ago, everything ended. James was traveling to a diplomatic conference near the Boundary Nebula. His transport ship suffered catastrophic engine failure. There was an explosion. No survivors. No bodies recovered. Sariel received the news during a council meeting. She remembered standing up calmly, excusing herself politely, walking to her chambers with perfect posture. Only when the door sealed behind her did she collapse. The pain was unlike anything she had ever known. It was not physical, but it felt like dying. For 3 days she did not eat, did not sleep. She just lay in her bed, staring at nothing. When she finally emerged, she was different, colder, more distant. The light inside her had dimmed. Now Thane wanted her to marry Lord Cavith. Let's move on. To forget James ever existed. Sariel pressed her palm against the cold glass. I would know if you were truly gone, she whispered to the stars. I would feel the emptiness. But I still feel you out there somewhere. It was foolish. She knew it was foolish. Dead was dead. There were witnesses to the explosion. Debris from the ship had been recovered and analyzed. James Reed was gone, but her heart refused to believe it. Suddenly, alarms shrieked through the palace. Red emergency lights flashed. Sariel's personal guards burst through the door with weapons drawn. Your Majesty, we have a breach, Captain Vrel announced. His face was tense. An unauthorized ship has crashed through our defensive shields. Human design. It crashed in the southern courtyard. Sariel's heart started racing. Valathi had 2 hearts, and both were now pounding. A human ship? From where? Unknown, Vrel said. It appeared from nowhere. Our sensors did not detect it until it was already inside the palace perimeter. The pilot is alive. Who is the pilot? Sariel demanded. Vrel hesitated. That hesitation sent ice through Sariel's veins. Captain, who is the pilot? She repeated. He claims to be Commander James Reed, Vrel said slowly, but that is impossible. Commander Reed died 6 months ago. We all know this. The room spun. Sariel grabbed the edge of her desk to steady herself. Her mind could not process the words. James was dead. She had mourned him. She had accepted it. This had to be some kind of trick. It is obviously an imposter, Captain Vrel continued. Perhaps a spy? Perhaps someone trying to exploit your grief? We have him restrained and ready for interrogation. No. The word came out sharper than Sariel intended. Bring him to me. Now, Your Majesty, that is unwise, Vrel protested. If he is an imposter or an assassin, then I will handle it, Sariel interrupted. I am not some fragile thing that needs protection from every threat. Bring him to the throne room. I will meet him there. Vrel bowed stiffly. He clearly disagreed, but he would obey. That was the difference between good soldiers and great ones. Great ones knew when to follow orders, even when they disagreed. As Sariel walked through the palace corridors toward the throne room, her mind raced. It could not be James. That was impossible. But what if somehow it was? What if he had survived? What if the reports were wrong? And if he had survived, why did everyone believe he was dead? Why had she been told he died in an accident? Questions multiplied with each step. By the time she reached the massive doors of the throne room, Sariel's hands were shaking. She clasped them behind her back to hide the trembling. The doors opened. Sariel walked inside and climbed the steps to her throne. She sat with perfect posture. Every inch a queen. Send him in, she commanded. The side doors opened. 2 guards dragged in a figure between them. He was human, covered in dirt and blood. His clothes were torn. His hair was longer than she remembered. He had new scars across his face. But his eyes, those brown eyes that had looked at her with such love, those eyes were the same. Sariel forgot how to breathe. The man looked up at her. Despite his injuries, despite being held by guards, despite everything, he smiled. Hello, Sariel, James Reed said. I know this is impossible, but I am here, and I need to tell you the truth about everything. She believed him dead, but the human she loved returned to the alien queen with the truth. Part 2. The impossible return. The throne room fell into absolute silence. Every eye turned to the man claiming to be James Reed. Sariel gripped the armrests of her throne so hard her crystalline fingers might shatter. It looked like him. It's the shape of his face, the way he stood even while injured. But 6 months had changed him. He was thinner, harder. His eyes held shadows that had not been there before. "This is clearly an imposter," Minister Thane declared from his position near the throne. His voice rang with authority. "Commander Reed died 6 months ago. We have official reports. Witnesses. Debris from his ship." James turned his gaze to Thane. Something dangerous flickered in his expression. "You would know about those reports, would you not, Minister? Since you helped create them?" The accusation hung in the air like smoke. Thane's face remained perfectly calm. "I do not know what game you are playing, imposter. But it will not work," Silent Sariel commanded. Her voice cut through the tension. She rose from her throne and walked down the steps. Each movement was measured and controlled. She stopped 3 feet from James, close enough to see every detail, far enough to maintain royal dignity. "Look at me," she said quietly. James met her eyes. For a moment, the throne room and all its people disappeared. There was only the two of them. Only this impossible moment. Sariel saw pain in those eyes. Exhaustion, desperation. But also hope. And love. The same love she had seen 2 years ago when he first told her how he felt. "Tell me something only he would know," Sariel said. "Something private. Something no spy or imposter could learn." James smiled sadly. "The third night we spent together, you could not sleep. You told me about your mother, how she died when you were young, how you blamed yourself because you had been angry with her that morning. You said you never told anyone that before, not even your closest advisors." Sariel's breath caught. That memory was locked deep in her heart. She had never written it down, never spoken of it except that one night. "You told me something too," she whispered. "What was it?" "I told you about my brother," James said. His voice grew rough with emotion. "How he died in the first year of the war. How I became a diplomat because I never wanted another family to lose someone the way I lost him. I told you I was scared to love you because I could not survive losing someone else I cared about." Tears began sliding down Sariel's crystalline cheeks. They left glowing trails in the dim light. "It is you. You are alive." She moved forward without thinking. Protocol and dignity forgotten. She wrapped her arms around him and held on like he might disappear again. James held her just as tightly despite his injuries. "Your Majesty, please," Thane said sharply. "We cannot be certain. This could be an elaborate trick. A spy who extracted information somehow." Sariel pulled back slightly but kept her hands on James's shoulders. "No spy could fake this. I know him. This is James Reed." "Then where has he been for 6 months?" Thane demanded. "Why did we receive reports of his death? Why is he suddenly appearing now?" "Those are excellent questions," James said. He looked past Sariel to Thane. "Questions I am very eager to answer. But I will only speak privately with Queen Sariel." "Absolutely not," Captain Vrel interjected. "We do not know if you are armed or dangerous. You will be taken to a secure cell for proper interrogation." "He stays with me," Sariel said firmly. She turned to face her court. "Everyone leave now. That includes you, Thane." "Your Majesty, I must protest," Thane began. "Your protest is noted and dismissed," Sariel interrupted. "This is not a request. It is a royal command. Everyone out." The court exchanged uncertain looks. This was highly irregular. But Sariel was queen. Her word was law. Slowly, reluctantly, people began filing out of the throne room. Thane lingered longest. His eyes moved between Sariel and James. There was something calculating in that gaze. Something that made Sariel's instincts scream warnings. "As you command, Your Majesty," Thane said finally. He bowed and left. The massive doors closed. Sariel and James were alone. Sariel immediately called for medical supplies. She made James sit while she examined his injuries. He had cuts and bruises everywhere. Some were fresh from the crash. Others were older, much older. "Tell me everything," she said as she cleaned a wound on his arm. "Start from the beginning." James took a deep breath. 6 months ago, I was traveling to the diplomatic conference near the Boundary Nebula. My ship was attacked. Not by engine failure, by sabotage. Sariel's hand stilled. Attacked? By whom? "I do not know exactly," James admitted. "They looked like human separatists, the kind who hate the peace treaty and want the war to restart. But I think they were hired. Mercenaries." "Why would mercenaries attack you?" "To remove me," James said simply, "and to hurt you. They knew we were together. They knew killing me would devastate you." Sariel felt cold spreading through her chest. "But you survived." "Barely," James said. "The explosion was real. My ship was destroyed. But I managed to reach an escape pod. I thought I was saved. Instead, my pod was intercepted by the same people who attacked me." "Where did they take you?" James's jaw tightened. "A black site prison. Off the charts. No records. No oversight. They held me there for 6 months." "Why?" Sariel demanded. "What did they want?" "Information," James said. "About you. About the palace. About Valathi defensive systems. They wanted to know your routines, your security protocols, everything." Horror washed over Sariel. "They were planning to assassinate me." "Not just assassinate," James said grimly. "Something bigger. They asked questions about the noble houses, about political alliances, about who would take power if you died. This is not just about killing a queen. This is about destabilizing the entire empire." Sariel stood and paced across the throne room. Her mind raced. "Did you tell them anything?" "No," James said firmly. "I told them nothing. That is why they kept me alive for so long. They kept trying new interrogation methods, new threats, new torture." Sariel stopped and turned to face him. She saw the truth of it in his scars, in his haunted eyes. "How did you escape?" "A guard," James said. "He was young, new. I think he did not fully understand what he had signed up for. After 6 months of watching what they did to me, he started having doubts. 3 days ago, he helped me escape. Where is this guard now?" "Dead," James said quietly. "He was killed helping me reach my ship. He died so I could get back to you and warn you." Sariel felt grief for a man she never met. A human who died to save James, who died to warn her. "Who was behind this?" she asked. "You said mercenaries were hired?" "Hired by whom?" "That is the problem," James said. "I do not have proof, but I have suspicions. The mercenaries let certain things slip. They mentioned someone in your court, someone close to you, someone who arranged everything, who—" Sariel demanded. "I am not certain," James said carefully. "But the timing is suspicious. My death removed me from your side. It left you vulnerable and grieving. And who has been pushing you to remarry? Who would benefit most from you being distracted and politically aligned with someone else?" Sariel's blood ran cold. "Thane. I cannot prove it yet," James warned. "But yes, I think Minister Thane is involved. Has been my most trusted advisor for years," Sariel said. But even as she spoke, doubts crept in. Thane had pushed her toward marriage very aggressively. Thane had been there for every security briefing. Thane knew all her routines. "We need proof," James said. "But we also need to be careful. If Thane realizes I am alive and talking to you, he will accelerate whatever plan he has. What do you suggest?" "We investigate quietly," James said. "Look through financial records, communications, security logs. Find the connection between Thane and the mercenaries." Sariel nodded. "I can access those records, but it will take time." "Time is something we might not have," James said. "If Thane is truly behind this, he already knows I am here. He already knows I am talking to you. He will assume I told you everything." As if summoned by those words, alarms suddenly blared through the palace. Sariel's communicator activated. Captain Vrel's voice came through, urgent and scared. Your Majesty, we have a situation. Minister Thane has issued an emergency order. He claims Commander Reed is an enemy spy. He has activated the Royal Guard and is moving toward the throne room. He has also sent a message to the noble houses accusing you of being compromised. Sariel looked at James. His expression was grim but not surprised. He is making his move, James said. He cannot let us expose him. So he is going to remove both of us before we can act. Oh, this is treason, Sariel said. Anger burned away her shock. He dares to move against his queen. He thinks he can win, James said. He has probably been preparing for this moment for months, maybe years. He has loyal followers, resources, a plan. Sariel drew herself up to her full height. Her crystalline skin began to glow with inner light. Then we will show him what happens when someone betrays their queen. The throne room doors burst open. Armed guards poured inside. But these were not Sariel's personal guards. These wore the uniform of the Royal Guard, Thane's people. Behind them walked Minister Thane himself. He looked completely calm, almost sympathetic. Your Majesty, Thane said gently. Please step away from the impostor. He has clearly manipulated you. But it is not too late. Come with me, and we will sort this out. Sariel stood in front of James protectively. The only manipulation here is yours, Thane. Did you truly think I would not discover the truth? Thane's expression shifted. The sympathy dropped away. What remained was cold and calculating. I thought I had more time. But apparently Commander Reed is more resourceful than I gave him credit for. No matter, the end result will be the same. He gestured to his guards. Arrest them both. The Queen is clearly unfit to rule. The Council will vote to remove her. I will assume temporary leadership until order is restored. The guards moved forward. Sariel prepared to fight. She had combat training. She would not go quietly. Then Captain Vrel appeared in the doorway behind Thane's guards. He was not alone. Behind him stood Sariel's personal guard. Dozens of loyal soldiers who served the Queen, not ambitious ministers. I do not think so, Captain Vrel said coldly. The two groups of guards faced each other. Tension crackled in the air. Thane looked around and smiled. How unfortunate. It seems we have a civil war. She believed him dead, but the human she loved. Return to the alien queen with the truth. Part 3. Unraveling the conspiracy. The throne room had become a battlefield waiting to happen. Two groups of armed guards faced each other. Thane's royal guard on one side, Sariel's personal guard on the other. One wrong move, and blood would spill across the ancient floors. Sariel stepped forward. Her voice rang with royal authority. Stand down. All of you. I will not have Valathi fighting Valathi in my palace. Captain Vrel immediately ordered his soldiers to lower their weapons. They obeyed instantly. Thane's guards hesitated. They looked to their minister for orders. Thane studied the situation carefully. His eyes moved from Sariel to James to the opposing guards. He was calculating odds, measuring risks. Your Majesty, Thane said smoothly. I understand you are confused. This human has clearly manipulated your emotions, but violence is not necessary. Come with me peacefully. We will resolve this through proper channels. Proper channels. Sariel laughed bitterly. You mean the channels where you arrange accidents? Where you fake deaths and imprison innocent people? I have no idea what you are talking about, Thane replied. His face showed perfect confusion. Perhaps your grief has affected your judgment more than I realized. My judgment is perfectly clear, Sariel said. James told me everything. The attack on his ship, the Black Site prison, the torture, the questions about palace security and my routines. Thane's expression never changed, but something flickered in his eyes. Just for a moment. It was enough. These are the desperate lies of an impostor, Thane insisted. He tells you what you want to hear. He exploits your grief. Surely you see this. What I see is a traitor standing in my throne room, Sariel said coldly. Guards, arrest Minister Thane for treason. Captain Vrel moved forward immediately. But Thane raised his hand. His royal guards lifted their weapons again. I am afraid I cannot allow that, Thane said. His voice had lost all pretense of respect. You'll leave me no choice, Your Majesty. I hereby declare you unfit to rule. The council will be summoned. They will vote to remove you from power. The council answers to me, Sariel said. Not to you. We shall see, Thane replied. Many noble houses already question your leadership. They see a queen who mourns a human for 6 months, who refuses to marry and secure the succession, who now embraces an obvious spy. They will vote against you. Then let them vote, Sariel said. I welcome it, because before they vote, they will hear the truth. Thane smiled coldly. What truth? You have no proof of your accusations. Only the word of a man who was supposedly dead. A man who conveniently appears just as you are being pressured to remarry. He was right. Sariel realized it was sinking horror. They had no proof. Only James's testimony, and James had been officially declared dead. Many would see his return as too convenient, too suspicious. We need evidence, James said quietly from behind her. Records, communications, financial trails, which I can easily deny or explain away, Thane said. I am very good at covering my tracks, Commander Reed. You survived longer than I expected. But survival is not victory. Sariel's mind raced. Thane was too confident. He had planned this for too long. He would have erased evidence, bribed witnesses, created false records. Unless, the guard, Sariel said suddenly. The one who helped James escape? Did he give you anything? Any evidence? James's eyes widened. He reached into his torn jacket and pulled out a small data chip. He gave me this before he died. He said it contained communications, proof of who hired the mercenaries. Thane's face finally showed emotion. Alarm flashed across his features. That chip is fake. Another part of the imposter's lies. Then you should have no problem with us examining it, Sariel said. Captain Vril, take that chip and upload it to the palace mainframe. Let everyone see what it contains. Do not touch that chip, Thane commanded. His hand moved to his weapon. I am still a minister of this empire. I have authority here. You have no authority to override a queen's direct order, Captain Vril said. He moved toward James to take the chip. Thane's guards raised their weapons. The sound of charging energy filled the room. Everyone froze. This is your last chance, Thane said. His voice was ice. Give me that chip. Step down peacefully, or this becomes very ugly. Sariel looked around the room. Thane had perhaps 20 guards. Vril had 30. But in a firefight, numbers mattered less than positioning. Thane's people controlled the main entrance. They had superior cover, and James was unarmed and injured. If shooting started, he would be in terrible danger. He would kill your own queen. Sariel asked quietly. I would save my empire from a weak ruler, Thane replied. You brought this on yourself? You chose a human over your own people. You weakened us with your peace treaty. You betrayed everything the Valathi stand for. The peace treaty saved millions of lives, Sariel said. It made us soft, Thane spat. Before the treaty, we were warriors. We were strong. Now, we negotiate. We compromise. We allow humans into our most sacred spaces. You have forgotten what it means to be Valathi. No, Sariel said. You have forgotten what it means to serve. A true Valathi protects the weak, honors the truth, values loyalty above personal ambition. Spare me your philosophy, Thane said. Hand over the chip, or people start dying. Starting with your human. He aimed his weapon directly at James. The threat was clear. Sariel made a decision. She stepped in front of James, placing her body between him and the weapon. You will have to go through me first. Your Majesty, no, James protested. Sariel ignored him. She locked eyes with Thane. If you kill me, you will never rule. The noble houses will never accept a minister who murdered his queen. You will be executed for treason. Thane hesitated. She was right, and he knew it. In that moment of hesitation, everything changed. The throne room's side entrance burst open. More guards poured in. But these wore different uniforms, the personal colors of various noble houses. Leading them was Lady Mirith, the oldest member of the Grand Council. "What is the meaning of this?" Lady Mirith demanded. Her voice cracked like thunder. "Why are weapons drawn in the Queen's throne room?" Thane quickly changed his expression. Back to calm. Back to reasonable. "Lady Mirith, thank the ancestors you are here. Queen Sariel has been compromised. An impostor claiming to be Commander Reed has manipulated her. I am trying to protect her from herself." Lady Mirith looked at James. Her ancient eyes studied him carefully. "That is James Reed. I met him many times during the peace negotiations. I would recognize him anywhere." "With respect, my lady, that is impossible," Thane said. "Commander Reed died 6 months ago. We have official reports. Reports can be falsified," Lady Mirith said. She walked closer to James. "Tell me, Commander, what did we discuss the night before the treaty was signed?" James managed a small smile despite the tension. "You told me a story about your daughter. How she married a human merchant against your wishes. How you did not speak to her for 5 years because of it. You said watching the peace treaty being signed made you realize you wasted 5 years on stupid pride. You asked me to promise I would never let pride destroy love." Lady Mirith nodded slowly. Tears formed in her old eyes. "That is a conversation I told no one about. Not even my closest advisors. This is truly Commander Reed." She turned to Thane. Her expression was cold fury. "You have much explaining to do, Minister." "I can explain everything," Thane said quickly. "But first, we must secure that data chip. It may contain sensitive information or viruses. Or it may contain proof of your treachery," Lady Mirith said. "Captain Vrel, upload that chip immediately. I want to see what is on it." Thane's mask finally cracked. "You are making a terrible mistake." "The only mistake was trusting you," Lady Mirith said. Captain Vrel took the chip from James and moved to a console. Within seconds, files began appearing on the holographic displays throughout the room. Communications, dozens of them. Between Thane and various coded contacts, money transfers, contracts with mercenary groups, orders to sabotage James's ship, instructions for the Black Site prison, and most damning of all, a message sent 3 weeks ago. A message outlining the final phase of Thane's plan. Assassinate Queen Sariel during a public ceremony. Blame human extremists. Use the chaos to seize power. Restart the war. The throne room fell silent as everyone read the evidence. Even Thane's own guards looked shocked. "This is fabricated," Thane said desperately. "Obviously fake. Created by human intelligence to discredit me." "These communications use your personal encryption codes," Lady Mirith said. "Codes only you possess. Codes that change daily based on algorithms known only to you." Thane looked around. He saw his plan falling apart. Saw his guards' faith wavering. Saw his future crumbling. "You think this is over?" he said suddenly. His voice turned vicious. "You think exposing me stops anything? I am not alone in this. There are others, powerful others who believe as I do, who want the peace treaty destroyed, who want humans driven from our empire." "Who?" Sariel demanded. "Give me names." Thane laughed. It was an ugly sound. "You will never know them all. This conspiracy goes deeper than you imagine. It reaches into every level of government, every branch of military, even into the noble houses themselves. Then we will root them all out," Sariel said firmly. "Starting with you, will you?" Thane asked. "Or will you be too late? You think I am in this throne room by accident? You think I revealed myself because I am stupid?" Something in his tone sent ice through Sariel's veins. "What have you done?" Thane smiled. "I activated my contingency plan the moment I saw Reed was alive. Right now, across the city, my people are moving into position. In exactly 10 minutes, they will launch a coordinated attack on 5 major population centers. Thousands will die, and the evidence will point directly to human terrorists." "You are lying," James said. "Am I?" Thane replied. Why do you think I kept you talking? Why do you think I did not simply shoot you both? I needed time, and now time is up." He touched something on his wrist. An alarm began blaring throughout the palace. A different alarm. One Sariel recognized with horror, the city-wide emergency alert, the one used for major attacks. "Your Majesty," a voice came through the communication system. "We have reports of explosions in the Eastern District. Multiple casualties. More explosions reported in the Market Quarter. The Northern Residential Area, the Western Industrial Zone." Sariel felt the world tilt. Thane had really done it. He had attacked her own people. "You monster," she whispered. "I am a patriot," Thane said. "And this is only the beginning." She believed him dead, but the human she loved returned to the alien queen with the truth. ##. Part 4. The palace under siege. Chaos erupted across the palace communication systems. Voices overlapped. Reports of explosions, fires, casualties. The carefully organized government system was falling apart in real time. Sariel felt like she was drowning. Her people were dying. Thane stood before her, smiling like he had already won. "Stop this," Sariel commanded. "Call off your attack. Now." "I cannot," Thane said with mock sadness. "The orders are already given. My people are loyal. They believe they are saving the Empire from human corruption. They will not stop just because I tell them to." "You are killing innocent Valathi," Lady Mirith said. Her voice shook with rage. "Sacrifices for the greater good," Thane replied. "The people will be angry, scared, and when I show them evidence that humans were responsible, they will demand blood. They will beg me to restart the war. The peace treaty will be torn apart." James stepped forward, despite his injuries. "You are insane. Starting another war will destroy both our species." "Perhaps," Thane said, "but the Valathi will remain strong. We will remember who we are. Warriors, conquerors, not weak diplomats who bow to humans." Captain Vrel moved quickly. His guards surrounded Thane. "You are under arrest. Any attempt to resist will be met with force." Thane did not resist. He simply smiled. "Arrest me if you wish. It changes nothing. My people do not need me to continue. The plan is in motion." "Your Majesty," a guard rushed into the throne room. "We have another problem. Crowds are gathering outside the palace. Someone is spreading news of the attacks. They are saying humans are responsible." The mood is turning ugly. Sariel's mind raced. She needed to stop the attacks, calm the people, expose Thane's lies. All at once, and she had no idea how. James touched her arm gently. "Sariel, focus. What would stop the attacks? Who would Thane's people listen to?" "Me," Sariel said suddenly. "They would listen to their queen. If I can address the people. Show them the truth. Prove that Thane orchestrated everything." "You will not believe it," Thane said. "You are too late. My version of events is already spreading. A queen compromised by human influence. A spy manipulating her. Attacks by human terrorists. It is a very compelling story." "Then I will tell a better one," Sariel said. She turned to Captain Vril. "I need access to the planetary broadcast system. Every screen. Every communicator. I want every citizen to hear what I have to say." "That will take time to arrange," Vrel said. "Then arrange it quickly," Sariel commanded. "Lady Mirith, I need you to contact the other noble houses. Tell them what we discovered. Make sure they see the evidence from the data chip." Lady Mirith nodded. "It will be done." "And you," Sariel looked at Thane, "tell me where your people are positioned. Tell me how to stop the attacks before more innocents die." "Never," Thane said simply. Sariel stepped close to him. Her crystalline skin glowed with barely contained fury. "I could have you tortured, make you talk." "Go ahead," Thane said. "But torture takes time. And while you waste time on me, my people continue their work. More explosions, more death, more anger toward humans." James spoke up. "The guard who helped me escape? He knew the locations of some safe houses, places where mercenaries gathered. If Thane's people are working with the same mercenaries, They might be using the same locations. Do you remember these locations? Sariel asked. James nodded. Most of them. I can mark them on a city map. Captain Vrel, get him a map, Sariel ordered. Dispatch security teams to every location. I want those terrorists stopped, as Vrel moved to obey. More alarms sounded. This time closer. Much closer. Your Majesty, a guard shouted. We have breaches in the palace perimeter. Multiple entry points. Armed attackers heading toward the throne room. How many? Sariel demanded. At least 50. Maybe more. They are heavily armed. Thane laughed. Did you really think I came here unprepared? My people have been infiltrating palace security for months. Right now, they are eliminating anyone loyal to you. Soon this entire palace will belong to me. Lady Mirith grabbed Sariel's arm. We need to evacuate you. Get you somewhere safe. I will not run from traitors in my own palace, Sariel said. Then you will die here, Thane said pleasantly. Explosions rocked the throne room. The main doors blew inward. Smoke and debris filled the air. Through the smoke came armed figures. They wore palace security uniforms, but Sariel did not recognize their faces. Traitors, Captain Vrel spat. He and his guards formed a protective wall in front of Sariel and James. The attackers opened fire. Energy bolts lit up the throne room. Vrel's guards returned fire. The ancient chamber became a war zone. We need to move, James shouted over the noise. He grabbed Sariel's hand. There has to be another way out. Sariel nodded. The servant passages. Behind the throne, she led James toward the back of the throne room. Lady Mirith followed close behind. Captain Vrel in half. His guards came with them while the others stayed to hold off the attackers. Behind the throne was a hidden panel. Sariel pressed the release. The panel slid open, revealing a narrow corridor. They rushed inside. The panel sealed behind them just as more explosions shook the palace. The servant passages were dark and cramped. They were designed for palace staff to move unseen. Sariel had played in these passages as a child. She knew every turn and corner. Where are we going? James asked. The Grand Assembly Chamber, Sariel said. If I can reach the noble houses, make them see the truth, they can help stop this madness. They moved quickly through the passages. Behind them, they could hear fighting, explosions, screams. The palace was tearing itself apart. They emerged in a storage room near the assembly chamber. Captain Vrel checked the corridor outside. Clear, but we need to move fast. They ran. Sariel's royal robes slowed her down, but she refused to remove them. She was a queen. She would face her people as a queen. They burst into the Grand Assembly Chamber. Dozens of noble House representatives were there, all talking at once, all scared and confused. Silence fell when Sariel entered. She must have looked terrible, covered in dust, hair wild. But her eyes blazed with determination. Listen to me, Sariel commanded. All of you. Minister Thane has betrayed us. He orchestrated the attacks on our city. He wants to destroy the peace treaty and restart the war with humans. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Some looked skeptical. Others looked frightened. Lord Kavea stood. The same lord who wanted to marry Sariel. With respect, Your Majesty, we have reports that human terrorists are responsible for the attacks. We have reports that you are being influenced by a human spy. Those reports are lies, Sariel said. Spread by Thane to cover his crimes. You are asking us to believe a human over one of our own, Lord Kaveth said. A human who was supposedly dead, who conveniently appeared just as you faced pressure to remarry. Other nobles nodded. They did not want to believe their queen could be right. It was easier to blame humans. Easier to believe the comfortable lies. James stepped forward. I have been imprisoned for 6 months. Tortured. I watched a good man die to bring you the truth. If I am a spy, I am a terrible one. Everything I have done has been to protect Queen Sariel and prevent another war. So you say, another noble called out. But you are human. Why should we trust you? Because he loves her, Lady Mirith said. She moved to stand beside Sariel. I have seen it with my own eyes. I saw it during the peace negotiations. True love cannot be faked, cannot be used as a weapon. Commander Reed would die for our queen. That is not the action of a spy. Before anyone could respond, the chamber doors exploded. Thane's forces poured inside. They surrounded the assembly. Weapons aimed at everyone. Thane himself walked in calmly. He had escaped somehow. Or perhaps Vrel's guards had been overwhelmed. Either way, he was here now. "Thank you all for gathering," Thane said pleasantly. "This makes everything much easier." "You dare attack the Grand Assembly?" Lord Cavith demanded. "I dare many things," Thane replied, "including this. I hereby declare Queen Sariel unfit to rule. She has been compromised by human influence. She has put her personal desires above the good of the Empire. The noble houses will vote to remove her." "Right now, we will do no such thing," Lady Marith said. Thane gestured to his armed guards. "You will vote, or you will die. Choose quickly." The nobles looked at each other. Fear filled their faces. They were politicians, not warriors. They had families, lives. They did not want to die for principles. One by one, hands began to raise. Votes against Sariel. Sariel felt her heart breaking. After everything, after all the truth revealed, they were still choosing fear over courage. James squeezed her hand. "Do not give up." Then Lord Coveth stood. The same lord who had wanted to marry her, the same lord who questioned James's identity. "I vote no," Coveth said clearly. Everyone stared at him. "I vote no to removing Queen Sariel," Coveth repeated. "I do not like her choices. I do not approve of her relationship with a human. But she is our queen. She negotiated peace when we were dying. She has led with wisdom and strength. I will not vote against her simply because a traitor holds a gun to my head." His words broke the spell. Other nobles stood, one by one, declaring their loyalty to Sariel. Thane's face twisted with rage. "You are all fools. You choose death." "No," a voice said from the chamber entrance. "You do." Captain Vrel stood there. Behind him were hundreds of palace guards. Real guards. Loyal ones. And behind them were crowds of citizens. People from the city. People who had heard the truth. "It is over, Thane," Vrel said. "Surrender." Thane looked around. He was outnumbered, outmaneuvered, defeated, but he smiled anyway. "It is never over. My ideas will live on. Others believe as I do. This empire will remember its strength. And when it does, your precious peace will burn." He reached for something on his belt. A detonator. James moved faster than anyone thought possible. Despite his injuries, he lunged forward and tackled Thane. They crashed to the ground. The detonator flew from Thane's hand. Guards rushed forward. They pulled James off Thane and restrained the minister. But not before Thane managed one final strike. A hidden blade. Straight into James's side. James collapsed. Blood spread across his shirt. "No!" Sariel screamed. She ran to him. Fell to her knees beside him. "No, not again. I cannot lose you again." James looked up at her. Even in pain, he smiled. "Not losing me. Just giving me another scar to show off," medical team Sariel shouted. "Now." As doctors rushed forward, Sariel held James's hand. She would not let go. Not this time. Never again has she believed him dead. But the human she loved returned to the alien queen with the truth #. Part 5. Truth and Transformation. The medical wing of the palace hummed with quiet activity. Sariel sat beside James's bed. She had not left his side for 3 days. Her hand held his even while he slept. She refused to let go. Not after losing him once already. James's breathing was steady. The doctors said he would recover. The blade had missed vital organs by centimeters. He was lucky again. "You need rest, Your Majesty, lady," Mirith said softly from the doorway. "The Empire needs you strong." "The Empire can wait," Sariel replied. Her eyes never left James's face. "The trials begin tomorrow," Lady Mirith reminded her. "Minister Thane and his conspirators. The noble houses expect you to preside. Sariel finally looked up. Her crystalline skin had regained some of its glow, but exhaustion still marked her features. Have all the conspirators been captured? Most of them, Lady Mirth said. 37 arrested so far. More investigations continue. You were right to be cautious. The conspiracy went deeper than anyone imagined. Military officers, government officials, even to members of noble houses. How many died in the attacks? Sariel asked quietly. 143 confirmed dead. 328 injured. It could have been much worse if Commander Reed had not identified those locations. Sariel squeezed James's hand tighter. Even unconscious, even wounded, he had saved lives. No, the people are asking questions, Lady Mirth continued. They want to understand what happened. They want to hear from their queen. They will, Sariel promised. Tomorrow. After James wakes up, as if summoned by her words, James's eyes fluttered open. He blinked slowly against the light. Then his gaze found Sariel and he smiled. Hi, he said. His voice was rough from disuse. Hi, Sariel replied. Tears filled her eyes. Happy tears this time. Did we win? James asked. We won, Sariel confirmed. Thane is in prison. His people are captured. The attacks are stopped. Good, James said. He tried to sit up and immediately winced. That was a mistake. Stay still, Sariel ordered. The doctor said you need at least another week of recovery. A week. James groaned. I have been lying down for 6 months. I am tired of resting.
Ah!
Despite everything, Sariel laughed. It felt good to laugh again. You were tortured for 6 months. Then you crashed a ship. Then you fought through a palace siege. Then you got stabbed. You have earned some rest. When you put it that way, James admitted. He looked around the medical room. Where is Thane now? High security prison, lady, Mirth answered. Under constant guard. The trial begins tomorrow. Trial. James raised an eyebrow. After everything he did? After all the evidence? We are not like him, Sariel said firmly. We follow the law. Even for traitors. Thane will face justice properly. James nodded approvingly. That is why you are a good queen. The next day, the Grand Assembly Chamber was filled to capacity. Every noble house sent representatives. Media from across the empire recorded everything. This trial would shape Valethi's history. Sariel sat on her throne. She wore full royal regalia. Her crystalline skin glowed with inner light. She looked every inch a queen. James sat beside her in a specially prepared chair. He wore formal human diplomatic clothing. The doctors had protested him leaving the medical wing, but James insisted. He needed to be there. Thane was brought in wearing prisoner restraints. He walked with his head high. Even in defeat, he showed no shame. Minister Thane, Sariel began. Her voice echoed through the chamber. You stand accused of treason, of conspiracy to murder, of orchestrating terrorist attacks against your own people. How do you plead? Guilty, Thane said simply. Guilty of trying to save the Valethi from weakness? Guilty of opposing a peace treaty that destroyed our warrior spirit? Guilty of trying to remove a queen who chose a human over her own kind?
Oh.
Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Sariel raised her hand for silence. Speak of strength, Sariel said. But what strength is there in killing innocents? In lying? In betrayal? I did what was necessary, Thane replied. History will judge me, and history will show that I was right, that human influence weakened us, that your love for this human made you unfit to rule. Sariel stood. She walked down from her throne until she stood directly in front of Thane. They were the same height, eye to eye. You want to talk about my love for James Reed? Sariel asked. Her voice was cold steel. Then let us talk about it. Let me tell you, and everyone hear exactly why I love him. The chamber fell, absolutely silent. I love him because he is brave, Sariel said. He survived 6 months of torture and never betrayed me. Never gave up information that would have helped his captors. Most Valethi warriors would have broken. She gestured to the evidence displays showing communications from the data chip. I love him because he is loyal. He could have stayed hidden, stayed safe. Instead, he risked everything to warn me of your conspiracy, to protect people he had never even met. Sariel's voice grew stronger, more passionate. I love him because he is kind. During the peace negotiations, he listened to our grievances. He acknowledged our pain. He helped craft a treaty that honored both our peoples. He did not see enemies. He saw people worthy of respect. She turned to address the entire assembly. And I love him because he taught me that true strength is not about dominating others. It is about lifting them up. It is about building bridges instead of walls. It is about choosing love over hate, even when hate is easier. Lord Cavith stood. Your Majesty, with respect, these are beautiful words. But many still question whether a queen can truly serve her people while loving someone from another species. Then let me be clear, Sariel said. I am queen of the Vailithi Empire. That duty comes first, always. But being queen does not mean I must be alone. It does not mean I must sacrifice every piece of personal happiness for politics. She looked at James. He was watching her with such love and pride that her heart ached. James makes me a better queen, not a weaker one. His perspective helps me see problems differently. His courage inspires me to be braver. His compassion reminds me why I serve in the first place. Lady Mirith stood. The question before this assembly is not whether we approve of the Queen's personal choices. The question is whether she has led us well, and I say she has. The peace treaty saved countless lives. Our economy is stronger than ever. Our people are prosperous. These are facts. Other nobles began standing, one by one, voicing their support. But what about tradition? Someone called out, what about maintaining the purity of Vailithi bloodlines? Tradition is important, Sariel acknowledged. But tradition that does not adapt becomes prison. Our ancestors were warriors because they faced threats that required warfare. We face different challenges now. We need different strengths. She gestured to James. This human risked his life for Vailithi people. He could have stayed safe on Earth. Instead, he came here, fought for us, bled for us. If that is not worthy of honor, then I do not know what is. The Queen speaks truth, Lord Cavith said. I did not want to admit it. I let prejudice cloud my judgment. But Commander Reed proved his worth. He saved many lives by identifying the terrorist locations, including lives of my own family members who lived near the attack zones. More voices joined in agreement. The tide had turned. Thane watched with disgust. You are all fools. You sacrifice strength for sentiment. The humans will exploit this weakness. Mark my words. The only one who exploited weakness was you, Sariel said coldly. You exploited fear. You exploited prejudice. You exploited grief. Those are the tools of the weak, not the strong. She returned to her throne. Minister Thane, you are found guilty of all charges. You will spend the rest of your life in prison. Your assets are seized. Your family name is stripped of all honors. And most importantly, your ideas are rejected. This empire chooses peace, chooses growth, chooses a future built on cooperation, not hatred. Guards led Thane away. He was still shouting about weakness and tradition until the doors closed behind him. The assembly erupted in discussion. Sariel, let them talk. This was important. They needed to process everything, to understand the new direction. Finally, she raised her hand for silence. There is one more matter to address. My relationship with Commander Reed has been the subject of much speculation. So let me end that speculation now. She looked at James. He nodded encouragingly. I love James Reed, Sariel declared. I will not hide it. I will not apologize for it. He is not just the human I love. He is my partner, my equal, my future. She took a deep breath. I know this challenges tradition. I know some of you will never accept it, but I am asking you to try, to see what I see. A chance to show the galaxy that different species can coexist, can love, can build something beautiful together. What are you proposing, Your Majesty? Lady Mirith asked carefully. I am proposing that love between species should be celebrated, not condemned, Sariel said. I am proposing new laws. Laws that recognize such relationships, that protect them, that honor them in the succession, Lord Cavith asked. If you and Commander Reed cannot have children together, who will inherit the throne? Adoption, Sariel said simply. There are many Valathi children who need homes, who need families. I will choose an heir from among them when the time comes. An heir I will raise with love and wisdom. The assembly buzzed with conversation. This was radical, unprecedented. But after everything that had happened, after seeing the truth of Sariel and James's love, opposition was weaker. I call for a vote, Lady Mirith announced. All in favor of the Queen's proposal for new laws recognizing cross-species relationships? Hands raised. More than half, then more. Finally, nearly 3/4 of the assembly voted yes. Sariel felt tears sliding down her cheeks. They had done it. Changed history. Changed the future. James stood carefully. He walked to Sariel and took her hand. You did it. You did it, Sariel corrected. She pulled him close. In front of the entire assembly, in front of the cameras broadcasting across the Empire, she kissed him. When they finally pulled apart, the assembly was applauding. Not everyone. But enough later that night, Sariel and James stood in her observation chamber. The same place she had stood 6 months ago, mourning his death. Now he was here beside her, alive, safe, together. What happens now? James asked. Now we build, Sariel said. A new future, a better empire. Together. Together, James agreed. He wrapped his arm around her waist. I like the sound of that. He stood watching the stars. The same stars that had witnessed so much pain, so much loss, but also so much love, so much hope. Somewhere out there, other species watched. Other civilizations wondered if peace between different peoples was truly possible. Sariel and James were living proof that it was. That love could transcend species. That courage could overcome prejudice. That truth could defeat lies. The future stretched before them. Full of challenges, full of struggles, but also full of possibilities, and they would face it together. The end.